Firstly,
programming evaluation. Okay, cool. So programming evaluation, let me reiterate, might be some issue with my mic. So this is a SAP evaluation what we have discussed yesterday. So how it would be looks like prior to 7.4. So what we have done in the 7.4 and what it would be there in the upcoming future and all. So in the 7.4, so in case if you would like to create any WebDime Pro application, in case if you would like to create any front end screens and all, so you have to create the WebDime Pro, that floor plan manager, all these things we have done long back. So that is like it was past, it was done. So a lot of things, like a lot of efforts needs to be put from our end, and at the end we ended with a lot of challenges and all. So that's the reason. So it was like overdated, and then SAP brings up something for us to make the job easier for us. That is nothing but a SAP ABAP programming model for SAP Fiori. So what we have done over there. So we have created the CDS views, BOPFs, and then OData services, all these things. Once the OData service has been created, so first we will do the registration in the main service, and we'll do the execution from the gateway client. So if it is working fine, we can able to see the desired output and all. That particular URL we used to share it to the Fiori guys, so that they can able to create the tile for us, and then they can give required catalogs, and then required roles they will be assigned, and then they will share it to the business users. Yeah, guys, this one also we have the dependency on the Fury guys and then UFI team. So to make it much more easier for us, this particular thing is came into the picture. So that is like SAP Cloud Platform in more than 1909, I can say. It's like 1809, not this not it will be not having full fledged for us. So 1909 version for the SAP S4 HANA, this cloud 1808. So for the S4 HANA 1909, so it would be helpful for us. So to create all the things from our side itself. What we will do? Simply we'll create the core data services, nothing but a CDS. On top of that one, we'll create do the behavior definition and implementation, and we will create the business service, so that we can able to see the apps from our end only. So rather than dependent on the process of Fiori and then UFI guys, so we can able to do the primitive view. And if you would like to do the debugging, just you can keep the breakpoint in behavior implementation class. Once we execute it from the primitive view, it gives required selection parameters. If you click on execute, so that it will be triggered, and then you can able to process. So this is what SAP RAP has been introduced for us to make the job much more easier for you. So I'm telling you again and again. So this is going to be a future for our app. So if you people are still working on SAP GUI and still you stuck over there, this is the time you need to be switching to SAP Eclipse ADT. So if you would like to do any of the logic in SAP GUI, if it is taking 1 hour, so in Eclipse it will take like 40 to 30 minutes. So our job will be much simpler. So it is so even like all the automations, even like in the upcoming futures also, all these things will come to us. So in SAP ADT only. So this is the time you for you guys to switch to ADT Eclipse. So this is what we have discussed yesterday. So prior to going to the RAP and all, we need to be understand first of all what is architecture of RAP, how it looks like. So what are the things will be covered? Let me show you that. So this will be the RAP architecture. So we will be having initial stage will be the data modeling and behavior, and then business service and provisioning and service consumption. So we will see like what is data modeling. So data model nothing but a, so whatever the requirement we are getting from the business, so that one we are put it in one model, and we are going to be leverage that one across the your service consumption. So let's take an example. So we have the requirement from business. We would like to create sales orders, and then sales order line items. All these things you would like to see it at the Fury app level. So what you have to do? So you have to create the CDS view by doing the association or the composition based on the two tables. I mean, like we'll be not having any tables. So if you are working on public cloud projects, we don't have any tables. Everything will be CDS. So that much familiarized REP, BTP environments and all. So we will create the CDS with the combination of sales order header and sales order line item using association or composition. What is association? What is composition? I will give you a quick intro here. But when we are discussing about when we are doing like prerequisite, I said like RAP, CDS and all. So next week we are going to be covered CDS everything. So there we can discuss detail the how we are going to use the syntaxes for the association, composition, and all. So CDS data modeling we will do in the business objects and behavior definition and behavior implementation. Might be now you got confused why we will be having the two boxes here. At the end, we are doing only the data modeling and behavior. So here we will be having two things. So that's the reason it came here, two boxes. So what are those? So in case if you would like to create only get data, so that means like using CDS, if you would like to only get data, so those kind of the things we can create the CDS. On top of that one, directly we will create the service definition and service binding. It's nothing but a query access. So that means we are doing only the queries for the CDS. But if you would like to do any CRUD operation, that means if you want to create something, read something, update something, delete something, then we have to go for this approach. So we have to create a series, on top of that one behavior definition and behavior implementation. So like that we have to follow. This is a way for two approaches, as I said, like this is for transactional access and this is for the query access. So normally, what is CDS entities and all? Okay, so data. So CDS entity is the fundamental, what I can say, like building block for your application. So this is the starting point. So this is the base. So for everything, for RAP, what will be the base? What will be the building block? So we can select CDS entities. Okay, so this particular data model will be accessed to database directly. So as I said, like normally what we will do in the previous our old tradition above, so we will be create the tables and then table will be go to application server, again from application server it will go to database server, and finally it will be the hit the database. So we have a lot of long process and all. So we'll be not having that much long process here to make our job is much more easier and then quicker and faster responses. So everything will be hit to database directly. So it will be direct support access to the database. So what I can say high level, so this data modeling and behavior, it deals with the data and then corresponding business logic. So how we are going to get the data and how we are going to write the business logic. So next one will be the business service provisioning. So what will be there here? So what is serious projection views and what is the behavior projection, behavior implementation? Let's take an example. So we have written like n number of logic here. So we will be having huge number of the thing, like we'll be having one data model which is having a multiple, I can say, uh, child entities. So what is parent entity, child entity? I will give you an example. Just try to understand how it looks like. So we have sales order. Inside the sales order, what we'll be having? We'll be having the sales order line items. Inside the sales order line items, we'll be having the schedule lines. Okay, so now I do have thousands of the fields corresponding with the all these things and all. But my one, so this particular one, we can able to. I'll show it at the notepad to make it the job easier for you. So in data model, let's consider I have two CDS, two or three, let's say three CDS. I have thousand fields to expose, but I can do two requirements here. Okay, so with the combination of this one, I can able to do sales order. I want to see sales order header and item details in one way, and sales order header item schedule lines. I want to see these things. So to make that particular thing, so I don't want to use all the thousand fields here. This is one way, and this is the second example. So here I out of thousand fields, I would like to use only 100 fields, and here I would like to use 500 fields. So how we can able to do? So no need to hit the data for the thousand fields, and then we should not be rely on database to do all these things and all. So for that one, what we will do? So we will do the create the projection on top of the existing one. So on top of the data model, we will do the projection views. Here we have written n number of logics. Like I will be written like create operation, delete operation, uh, read, update, all these things. But my requirement, I don't require this thing. So in my requirement, I don't require this particular one. Like I have only read operation should be suffice in my requirement. If that is the case, then I can use only I can create the projection on top of the existing behavior definition logic and so I will leverage only CRUD operation here. Then only for that particular thing I can create the service definition and service binding. Finally, so this is the thing it will be there in the business service provisioning and so final option will be the service consumption. So whatever the service I have created, so how I am going to be consumed. So we have the two options. So once I get the SAP Fiori UI, I mean like we'll be having the two options here. Either we can able to do it at the UI level or we can able to do it at the web API level. So this is the whole architecture of the RAP. So data modeling and behavior, business service and provisioning, and then service consumption. So you are saying business object. What is business object? Anyone having any idea on this one? What is business object? A real time, how it looks like. If you have any example.
A particular object which contains all the details regarding one particular scenario.
Exactly. Who said this?
Sandeep.
Yes, Sandeep. Yes, it's correct. So this is a business object, common term. Normally, it's represent a real world artifact in enterprise application development. So in a ERP, so this is a real world artifact. So it will be like an example sales order, as I said earlier. So sales order we will be having inside this one. Sales order items inside that one. Schedule lines. It have common transactional operations. What are the common transactional operations we will be having in SAP? Create, update, delete, and read will be there. That will be something different, but main thing will be the actions. So based on this, so we will write the required things and all. And so yeah, so based on these operations, we will be perform all the things and all. So as I said, is like behavior. This particular one, behavior definition. We are going to be write the logic based on this particular one. So BO will be further categorized. So we will be normally further categorized into three ways. So as per this particular one, this particular requirement and all, how it is looks like. So it would be based on three ways. BO categorized or characterized by three ways. One is structure level. So structure level means this example. So this is the example which will be there at the structure level. So in case if it is a behavior, how it looks like. So if it is behavior, so it's look like actions, CRUD operations, actions, functions, as I said, locks, draft functionality. So all these things will be, I mean, like might be new for you. I think might be CRUD and options will be, you people already have seen that. But these locks, draft and all will explain you detailedly how it is look like and all. And final will be its corresponding runtime implementation. Its corresponding runtime implementation. That means like what will be the buffer, transaction buffer, and what will be the save sequence before executing and all. So this should be you people needs to be understand why because we are working on any. I mean like we'll as I said like we'll be having two scenarios, managed and unmanaged. So if you write to some logic and the unmanaged scenario, you should be understand where exactly you have to return the logic. What will be the process and all. What are the standard classes available inside the standard REP interface methods and all. This needs to be handler classes, saver classes would be there. So those things we can discuss. Okay, handler and saver classes. So this is one of the important thing you will need to be understood. So this we may get what I can say interview questions for this one as well. So